Welcome to Kilmarnock.
Yes folks, I'm back in Scotland today. I'm in Kilmarnock, and we're not doing a shed bash today, we're doing a works bash because there's no shed at Kilmarnock. Now the bad news is I'm really suffering from colds and flu, so if my commentary is not up to its usual standards, I apologise. So we're going to follow the directions as usual to get to the works.
So these are the instructions we're going to follow today. These directions will take us to Kilmarnock Works. As you can see, it's a relatively simple walk and should take around about 10 minutes.
So I'm outside Kilmarnock station now, and I'm going to go down the approach road, which is this one, and turn right. This taxi will let me through on this road here. So this is West Langham Street, and that's what we've got to follow first of all. So we're carrying on now, as the instructions say, down Bonnyton Road. So this is Bonnyton Road, and apparently the entrance is just past the railway overbridge. So it looks like we've got a little bit of a walk, and it's supposed to be about 10 minutes walk. The Locomotive Works was built in 1865. It was part of the Glasgow and South West Railway. And there's the bridge in the distance. I can just see it now. So I've just found out this building here that we're just walking past is actually the old Locomotive Works for Hunslet-Barclay. This is their offices. And if you look in the road here, you can see the lines that took the locomotives into the works. Fabulous. And there's a sign up there. I'm going to see if I can get a view of it from the other side. There's some more infrastructure. Look at that, and all cranes and stuff like that. There's actually a locomotive here and all. Can't make the name out. Drake. It's got to be an Hunslet-Barclay.
As is per usual, I like to do my post-visit research after the fact. This is no different. So I've researched Drake, and it found out that it was built by Hunslet-Barclay in 1940. It was supplied new to the Royal Ordnance Factory at Glasgow, where it acquired its name, Drake. It was later purchased by the dealer, A.R. Adams of Newport, and it was subsequently sold to Stewarts and Lloyd Limited at the Newport Works in 1962. They later became part of the British Steel Corporation, but the facility closed in 1973. This is a photograph of Drake in its duty. It's pictured outside its shed, serving BSC Newport Tube Works, and this photo was taken in August 1970. As we know, it's now enjoying its retirement. It's now residing in the Locomotive Works where it was built. I think it's deserved that rest, hasn't it?
And we'll look over here now. There must have been some action went on here. Great crane, look at that. So there is actually some writing on it. See if we can make it out. It says John Henderson and Son, Aberdeen, Scotland. Load 5 tons. Very interesting. It's been turned into flats now, look. Wow. Bit of history there. And there's the sign up at the top. I'll see if I can get a better view of it from the other side. I just found this plaque on the wall, look. Caledonian Works, Hunslet-Barclay and Son. Engineers, iron founders and boundary makers. Quite a nice little find. I'm quite excited about this. I'm going to go into this supermarket on the right so I can get a good picture of the name at the top. And we still haven't found the works yet. This was the original one, so now we've got to find out where the new works was.
This is an Andrew Barclay and Sons and Company works plate. This is typical of the plates that were used by the company. I think at this stage it might be prudent to give you a little bit of the history of Andrew Barclay. I'm going to intersperse it with one or two photographs of Andrew Barclay locomotives that I have from my collection. So here we go. Andrew Barclay was born in 1814. He was only 25 when he set up his partnership with Thomas McCulloch to manufacture mill shafts in Kilmarnock. Several years later, Barclay branched out on his own to manufacture his patented gas lamps. During 1947, he set up his workshops, which specialised in the manufacture of winding engines for the local coal mining industry. He sold the company patent for his gas lamp, but unfortunately, the money was never paid, and his company folded the following year. It starts to get interesting now. By 1859, his new company produced its first steam locomotive, and by 1870, Andrew Barclay and Sons had built around 420 locomotives.
And there's a sign, offices Andrew Barclay and Sons Co. Limited. I want to just go down this road here because Mr. Barclay was born down on this road at number 69. He died in 1900. So I'm assuming it's in this block here. We're getting, there's 59. I wonder whether there's a blue plaque outside or something. Well, that's number 67, so this has got to be 69. Argyle House.
And this is the residence where Andrew Barclay passed away in 1900.
Famous for his industrial locomotives. True history. Well, let's go and find the second works then. See if we can find the new works now, which is just down this road under the bridge. So this is where the new works was built, where we're coming up to soon, and they actually built 392 locomotives here up till 1921. Then they stopped building locomotives and concentrated on repairs.
Round about 1871, Barclay set up Barclays and Company, another locomotive building business, which he'd set up for his younger brother John. Neither company flourished though. They were both declared bankrupt in 1874 and 1882 respectively. The reason why the old works wasn't mentioned in my shed directory is because the new works had been built by then. During 1892, the firm became a private limited company as Andrew Barclay, Sons and Company Limited. Just 2 years later, though, Andrew was removed from control of the company by its shareholders, and he ended up suing the company for unpaid wages. But this was settled out of court 5 years later. During 1930, the company purchased a rival engine-making business. That was John Cochrane, a Barhead Limited. And in 1963, it also acquired the goodwill of the North British Locomotive Company in Glasgow. In 1972, the company was acquired by the Leeds-based Hunslet Group of companies, and its name was changed in 1989 to Hunslet-Barclay Limited. That company was then purchased by the Staffordshire-based conglomerate, the LH Group, in 2003, where they continued the business of design, manufacture and refurbishment of multiple units, rolling stock, bogies and wheel sets. Several Barclay locomotives were supplied through Lennox Lang, who acted as an agent for Barclay.
Well, it's a nice, quiet, peaceful day now. Wished I felt a little bit better, but it is what it is and the show must go on. So here we go. The entrance to the works was just on the right. So maybe... oh, we've got some steps there. Maybe this was it. It's still a railway line, see? I don't know whether it's active or not. So this would have been the location of the railway works. And this wall maybe was the wall for the works. If we take a close look at this old map, you'll see this is the railway station here. And we came down this approach road and turned right onto West Langlands. And on this corner, this was Caledonia Works. It's named here, see? This was Caledonia Works, and then we carried on through to Bonnyton Road until we reached this overbridge here. We went under the overbridge and then we came up the steps, and this was the site of Kilmarnock Works. And you can see the workshops here, and I'm not sure what these are, but they could be houses for the workers. So you can see it's in this little triangular shape here. This is where the works were, and this position here is round about where the new Brodie Works is now. Here's a good aerial view of the site. You can see this is the triangular shape there. I know it's a curved triangle, you can't have a curved triangle, but that's what it is. These were the works, and look here, these were the houses, I would assume the houses that the workers lived in. And down here, on this corner here, this would have been the road, because the bridge would have just come over here. I would have come up there, and that little wall there, you can just about make it out, centre right here. That wall could be the wall that is still there now. And I've just come along here and come along this path here. So this, I think, would have led straight into the works. I'll just take a little walk up here and see what's on the other side.
Getting more up to date now, during 2007, the company's poor financial position compelled it into administration. Shortly thereafter, the company was acquired by Loughborough-based engineering company Brush Traction through its parent, the FKI Group. To reflect its change in ownership, it was then rebranded as Brush-Barclay. More changes came in 2011 when Wabtec acquired Brush Traction, and the Kilmarnock Works then became Wabtec Rail. This was the Scotland version. During 2020, Wabtec announced its intention to close the Kilmarnock Works and put it up for sale. And that's when Brodie Engineering, that's another Kilmarnock firm, stepped in and acquired the site. Then it started operating 2 facilities within Kilmarnock, the other one being at Bonnyton Rail Depot within the Bonnyton Industrial Estate. The other is close to the station. Over its entire history, the company constructed an estimated 2,052 steam locomotives, making it one of Britain's leading industrial locomotive builders and a significant name in the industrial and light railway engineering. To sum up, Andrew Barclay became a leading specialist in fireless steam locomotives. This was ideal for munition factories and industrial sites due to their inherent safety. They built 114 such locomotives between 1913 and 1961, becoming Britain's largest builder of these unique engines. They also built 5 Class 01 diesel shunters for British Rail. This occurred between 1956 and 1958.
Brody Engineering took over part of the works, and at the moment it's the only active railway engineering company. Oh, there's a path here, look. It's a bit messy. It's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Wow. You don't want to be caught here on your own in the middle of the night, would you? So this would have been the site of the locomotive works. See if I can find that Brody Engineering. There is a Brody Engineering at Kilmarnock station, but I think that must be a later edition. But there is apparently still a line that's coming in here. Sorry for me breathing. I'm not so well at the moment, as you can imagine. I think that's it. That could be it there. Well, there's a sign of a building that says rail spares. I'm not sure whether this is Brody. This is it. I can see a locomotive down there. If I remember correctly and all, I think this was opened by Pete Waterman. Yeah, this is Brody Engineering, see? Pete Waterman opened this place. I remember reading that somewhere. Very quiet today. So now we can see the lines into it. I don't see any numbers on this carriage here. So anyway, that's it. That's all that's left. Probably rebuilt, obviously, but it's still active. So I want to thank you for coming along with me. Apologies again for the poor service you're getting today, but got to do it while I'm here. So I'll see you again next time, and thanks for coming, thanks for following. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.